My dad and I bought a lot of woodworking tools after I did woodworking in middle school, where I realized I loved making stuff with my hands and taking one thing and turning it into another and making it look really beautiful. After middle school, I started making handmade longboards. A friend of mine was riding one of the skateboards around town, and this guy saw them. Was like, "Hey, who made that for you?" My friend was like, "Oh, my friend Devin made him." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, I want to hire that guy." So I got a random call out of nowhere from some dude who was just like, "Hey, I saw one of your skateboards. Do you want a carpentry job?" And I probably learned 80% of what I know about carpentry from Honey Skateboards. I also make a lot of other things. I love making furniture, especially live edge slab furniture. And then I also make things like wooden rings, cutting boards, and I make beer flight paddles. I also play bass. A lot of my friends were all in bands. I thought to myself, like, oh, I want to learn an instrument and be in a band. So I thought to myself, like, oh, I'll learn bass because it's only got 4 strings, so it must be easier. Little did I know that carrying the rhythm and being such an integral part of the band was a lot more work, and it was a lot harder. Chad and I met when we were around 11 years old, and we went to all the same schools together. We hung out in high school and everything. We were even in a couple bands together. One day he approached me with the idea of wanting to do the guitar business, asked me if I wanted to be a part of it, and I said absolutely, because I was already doing carpentry and stuff, and at the time I was working a job at a grocery store, and I would have been completely happy leaving the grocery store to do something like this. So I think one of the coolest things about working here is that at the end of the day I get to look at this thing that I created or these changes that I made that will always be there. Working a creative job like this for the rest of my life is something that I will be extremely happy with. My name is Devin Murdoch, and I am a carpenter and luthier at Jennings Guitars.
Maybe.